What's up everyone, Off the Cuff Reviews here. My name's Alex and today I'm actually going to be refilming a video that I already filmed, so let's get into it. Today I'm going to be talking about a documentary that I watched recently. I actually already filmed this video and then I lost the files, which sucks really bad. But, so today we are going to be talking about the documentary called Feels Good Man. So, let's dive in. So this doc starts out with the story of Pepe the Frog, which is the beloved character or meme that many people from the millennial generation will know. And the doc itself, it starts out with the creator of Pepe the Frog, Matt Fury, and how he started this character inside of a comic that he made. He originally released this comic on MySpace, of all things. He quickly noticed the type of people who were reposting the Pepe the Frog meme. Well, this was actually before it even became a meme. But he started noticing the type of person that was resharing this and resharing quotes and reposting it. And it turned out that it was these hyper-masculine bodybuilder type of MMA type of guys. You know what I mean? The type of guy that I'm talking about. At the time, he didn't think much of it. But as time progressed, things became more clear of the type of actual people who were trying to commandeer this character. So the story actually dives into 4chan and 4chan culture and how the character was co-opted by the Trump administration and alt-righters started using it as a mascot. The doc goes into directions that you might expect, but it also documents Matt Fury's fight against people who are using Pepe in an unauthorized way. He's using the copyright system to take these people down, and he's already won a bunch, including against Alex Jones, which is what I'm going to be talking about in a second. And that is the gist of the entire doc. But what's crazy about this doc is that they literally got Alex Jones in a deposition to talk about a fucking meme, bro. In a legal deposition with lawyers, they got Alex Jones in there to talk about a meme because of how he was co-opting it. We also get in this doc, well, we don't actually see him, but our guy, friend of the show, Blake Anderson. So Blake Anderson, we don't really see him, but we see a representative of his company, Bored Teenager, because they were making merch for Pepe the Frog. Because at that time, it was, like I said, it was just a meme before it got co-opted into this big alt-right thing. Now, in the doc, they talk to a lot of different people. They talk to some people that I don't like. They talk to people who are not fully 100% aware of the history of 4chan. They tried to talk about how Pepe the Frog was co-opted on 4chan. It's just like this huge thing where some of it is right and some of it is not right. And I don't fault them for like doing this. It's just like the people that they were interviewing just might have been like slightly mistaken or misspoke or something on certain things. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But so, you know, Pepe the Frog, if you guys don't know, you guys have probably seen Pepe the Frog. And it's been co-opted by, it's been co-opted by the alt-right pretty much. Now, what I don't understand is why people like Hassan Piker and Destiny and these people who call themselves like libs and leftists and whatever else, they're a crowd of people and the Voshes of the world, their fan bases love to spam their live stream chats with Pepe the Frog memes. Don't know why, because I thought this was getting co-opted by the alt-right. So what are we doing here? We're doing stuff, we're trying to take it back or something? I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way a little bit, makes me question it. It makes me question the intentions of the fan bases of these people. I'm not talking directly about these people. I'm not talking shit about the streamers. I'm talking about the fan bases specifically. Makes me question, maybe there's some bad actors in there. But let's get back on track here. So the doc goes into the history of 4chan a little bit. And if you guys don't know, I mean, listen, I've been on 4chan. Trust me, I have been on the 4chan. I used to use it a lot. And yeah, we don't really like 4chan in this house. We don't really vibe with 4chan anymore. We've grown out of it. We are adults now. We don't use 4chan, okay? So, but what the crazy thing about this is the doc actually gets a slightly wrong of the history of things, because they claim that everything happened on 4chan. All of the Trump stuff came from 4chan. All of the co-opting came from 4chan, when that is not entirely the case. You have a 4chan, right? Okay, so you have Christopher Poole, who made 4chan, and then you know, go through a couple years, and then something called Gamergate happens. This is like some internet lore for people who don't know. Maybe you do know what Gamergate is, or maybe you've heard of it. Gamergate is a thing where a bunch of people online were complaining because games were like trying to push this like woke agenda of not having hot women in their games or something. And then there was like people who were like SJWs who were coming out online and causing a big stir because they were complaining about the people complaining about that. It's just... So anyways, that was going on, and then people were pushing that, all of that stuff, because that was happening on YouTube. But what was also happening at the same time was people were posting all this type of shit on 4chan. They were getting in big arguments over there, to the point where the moderators... Actually, before we even get to there, they did touch on part of what happened. Okay, so part of what happened was there was this big fight over on 4chan, and there was this big revolution happening where all of the people, all the incel losers, because they actually talked to some of the incel losers in the doc from 4chan, all these incel and femcel losers on 4chan, they decided they were going to wage a war on the other parts of the internet, and due to all this. And so the moderators of 4chan, basically, the thing is pretty much anything goes on 4chan. You can post whatever the fuck you want, anonymously, for the most part. So people post things on there that are pretty questionable. But the thing is the mods got pretty pissed off at all of the bullshit that was going on with Gamergate, that they basically blocked people from talking about Gamergate, right? So all the people that were talking about that, and because the thing is with the Gamergate shit, the Pepe the Frog shit was kind of like all together. It was all together at one time. They were kind of like mixed. The crowds were kind of mixing together, because this is kind of where the alt-right was really hanging on to that Pepe the Frog thing. And they were trying to use it as like a mascot to go get this Gamergate shit. So after all this was happening, the 4chan mods banned the Gamergate topic, so everyone went over to 8chan, because on 8chan you can talk about whatever the fuck you want. You can post whatever you want, including some illegal stuff, and they don't do anything about it. So over there, they went from 4chan to 8chan, and that is where QAnon came from. That is where basically all of this alt-right shit is festering. It's festering over there. And I'm not saying it's not on 4chan. There is tons of racism, tons of alt-right bullshit on 4chan, but what I'm saying is all of the people who were the bad actors, they basically got kicked off of 4chan because they were in these threads arguing and trying to start this like revolution thing. So they kicked them out. They went over to 8chan because they were not going to be censored over there. So they went over there, and that is where QAnon was pretty much spread and started, right? So all of this happened over on 8chan, not on 4chan. So then, once all the stuff happened on 8chan, and it started growing, and the QAnons, and the Pepes the Frogs, and all this, and the alt-right kind of co-opted everything, then that's when Trump got wind of it. That's when Alex Jones got wind of it. That's when all of that stuff started dogpiling. That came from 8chan, not 4chan. They claimed in the doc it all came from 4chan. That's not true. It came mostly from 8chan, from all the people that got kicked off of 4chan. So yeah, it did start on 4chan, but they went to another platform. So That is just some internet lore for you guys, by the way, just in case you guys weren't, like, aware. And quite frankly, I should kill myself just for fucking even knowing any of this, because that's so cringe. It's so unbearably cringe that I know any of this. So that's what happened, right? So all these people went over to 8chan. They started doing the Pepe the Frog, the alt-right, all the shit. I mean, listen, alt-right already existed, but what I mean is that's where it was festering. It was a cesspool over there. That's kind of like what Twitter is turning into, right? Isn't that? Guys, seeing any cohesion there, right? So all of that's happening, and at the same time, Matt Fury, who made Pepe the Frog, started going after people who were using it and co-opting it, and he's going after them in a copyright way. So he went after Alex Jones in a copyright way. Alex Jones lost the lawsuit. Funny enough, in the doc, they showed all the deposition. I just thought that was hilarious that he lost, and he also had to fucking go into deposition over this. And so the whole doc is pretty much him, Matt Fury, fighting to reclaim the name away from these racist weirdos. You know what I mean? He wants this to not be their mascot, right? So that's kind of like what the doc explores. Another thing, towards the end of the doc, this is another crazy part of the doc. So first of all, what made me want to even talk about this doc was the fact that they got Alex Jones in that deposition and actually put that deposition in the movie. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That made me want to talk about this. Next thing that I want to maybe talk about it is the ADL. Okay? ADL. Anti-Defamation League, or whatever it's called. The reason why I don't like the ADL is because they do a lot of, well, questionable things. And it's a lot of, like, lobbying, governments, a lot of Israeli involvement, stuff that is not really good for what we are vibing with. We don't really like the Zionism part. Now, we don't mind, we love Jewish people over here, but we don't like the Zionism, the genocides, the Israeli government entity. We don't like that. But we think, and from just what we've noticed, is that the ADL works a lot with Israel. A lot of love for the ADL. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because the ADL was mentioned in this doc. Because Matt Fury went to the ADL. And I was thinking, oh no, this is going to be one of those docs where, like, now it just, like, randomly turns into propaganda. You know what? You know what? You're watching a doc and it'll be like a doc, like, about any kind of random topic, and then towards the end, they just kind of shoehorn in some, like, propaganda that they were trying to, like, spread the entire time. Like, I don't know, am I the only one that's been noticing that? I mean, it's been happening for years and years and years and decades, but, like, wow, what was that doc? There's been climate change docs where it turns into them at the end being like, and that's why you shouldn't eat meat. And it's like, I don't know. You're spreading your veganism on me. I don't know if that's, like, the case that I want to, like, I don't know if that's, like, the propaganda that I want. I don't know if I want to eat meat, okay? So I don't, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it turns into that. It turns into, well, here's, like, my agenda at the end. And there was no real agenda. I mean, well, with Feels Good, man, there is a little bit of an agenda. They're trying to take back and reclaim the Pepe the Frog away from the alt-right bad actors and bring it back to the normal thing, which is a fucking comic, right? That is the agenda. But the agenda isn't to be pushing, like, Israeli propaganda. And at first I thought they were about to go there because there's been so many docs where it just turns into propaganda. So I'm literally, like, I'm clenching and I'm ready to start being mad, man. I'm ready to start being mad that this just turned into that. No. The ADL made themselves look bad. They made themselves look bad. Okay, so in the doc, towards the end, Matt Fury goes to the ADL and says, isn't this like like they're co-opting this as a mascot for anti-Semitism and stuff. They want to use this as a way to attack Jews and stuff. So why can't me and you and us and the ADL work together to take down these people? And you want to know what the ADL said? They basically said they don't believe that this has anything to do with anti-Semitism, and they basically don't give a shit at all. And by the way, instead of just doing like a phone call or an email, which is what a normal company and a normal thing would do, they made this guy, they dragged him into an office, into a city somewhere, and tell him that to his face instead of just saying that over an email. So he put it in his doc, and yeah, made them look bad. And I'm sorry, that to me, that makes them look bad, because yeah, this is being co-opted by the alt-right. It is being used to spread anti-Semitism. So why aren't you going after it if that's all you do all day? You literally take money from the Israeli government to lobby the US government to spread this stupid shit that the fucking Israeli government wants. They literally do that. Why are they not going after true anti-Semitism? I don't know. Makes you question. Makes you question. So, I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting part of the doc as well. And that also made me want to speak up about it. Because I was like, wow, that looks really bad on them. Because regardless of how anyone feels about the ADL, they should have taken this. First of all, it would have made them look really good. This would have turned into fucking ADL propaganda at the end. The whole narrative would have changed. And they literally chose not to. And it's in the doc. I don't know, that was a bombshell to me. To me, that was huge. That was huge. And it's very, very relevant to what is happening now, even though this doc came out a couple years ago. So I'm just saying. Just saying. I think everyone should go check this doc out. It's free on Tubi right now. And yeah, I think that everyone should go check it out. That's why I wanted to talk about it, let you guys know. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Let me know, have you guys seen that doc? What do you guys think of it? Do you guys hate it? What's the deal? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone. See you next time.